I don't know where the boost in audio came from. I changed the microphone, but it appears that the audio is much louder. It might just be me, but I don't know. So I'm going to, with that microphone, I'll decrease the vocal boost. I'll see what this one sounds like. This was the microphone I was using, and then I couldn't find it real quick, so I grabbed another microphone and before, and it seems like it doesn't need the vocal boost as much. We'll get to our prayers here. Yeah, I was looking for a seal of the United States, and when I didn't see it till I was finished, and it said President of the United States. But it is espionage, and I'll get into it deeper. They either have a very large working group, or they use artificial intelligence, or both. What they're doing is, and I explained to this how the conspiracy laws are outdated because of the digital capabilities to communicate but not communicate. If you solicit my opinion is on conspiracies, how the law needs to be adjusted. If you're soliciting crime such as terrorism online, I guess the material support is what they use to do it. But essentially, it goes this way: if you're soliciting, and somebody goes to your website, and then they act out what you solicit, I believe that's a criminal conspiracy. I believe it's a kind of a constructive agreement. It's an open solicitation. Right? Again, you probably have this going on in Ice Watch. There's open solicitations for crime, but they circumvent. Actually, they're not circumventing criminal conspiracy. You're just, I guess, picking your moment, or use it for leverage on a consent decree. Of course, they'll cry that you're doing something dirty, but right. Well, essentially, if they want to enter into a consent decree to enforce law, and you'll put somebody over them to help them enforce that law. So if you see a precinct slack off, because you can't trust them, they already tried to scam. They did it in Chicago also. They come out and they half-ass help you with the riots, and then say they're enforcing law. But they're not. They're still not enforcing traffic law. They're still not enforcing law the way they do. I know big city police officers, how they would react to that level of criminality, and face it, combined with verbal battery and disrespect at a level that we generally don't allow in our cities against anybody, unless it's corrupt. And of course, they were corrupt in my life, and that's how it was halted and destroyed. So they're just out there playing a game to placate the federal court, and the federal court might be part of it, part of the conspiracy. It might be meeting back and forth. Again, spy hunters, get them out there. It's a form of espionage. So the basic idea is that they're not enforcing the law. You need them to force the law. Big city cops would have impounded those vehicles first day. Again, they're in here too, right? Butler PD would have. That's the biggest city we know. Well, the leader of the free world lives here. It's not Trump, it's Larry. Trump even listens to Larry. Hello, Trump, you here? You messed up. You couldn't hear me. Now you do it after the midterm. You're doing too much at once. That's how they're getting you. They may be manipulating you somehow other way, like psychology. Yeah, somebody's learning how to circumvent our laws. Right. And it's usually flip the script. It's very obvious, but again, these people have been extorted a lot. Of that judge up there may not have a job and may be in prison because they were extorted. And if somebody left that out, they feel like they would go to prison. Right. So since then, they've committed some additional crimes for the conspiracy. Signing certain cases to certain judges, leaking information to the police department on what to do so they don't look bad in federal court. They'll play along with the scam. like they're actually enforcing law. So that's the litmus test. You have to enforce the law the way you enforce it every day and have enforced it every day. Or you're guilty of deprivation of rights under color of law and other crimes. Stalking, another thing. Right. Now, I do see that, I think it was even Krasner. No, it wasn't Krasner. It was the people in Pittsburgh. They said you can't film undercover operations. They understood some of it, but they're not there. They don't understand that the right to film is just a universal right to film based upon expectation of privacy. If you go outside and somebody can observe you, then you can film. And law enforcement is somewhat bound by this, but not completely. Well, because you can't go to a judge and get some, search warrant or, I don't know, how do you do that? You can't film in somebody's house, that's for sure. I guess you can. Oh, right. When you wear, I don't know how I think it's different state by state. I'm not sure how that works. Well, expectation of privacy of wearing glasses with a camera, and if you walk into somebody's house, there's an expectation of privacy, but does that expectation of privacy disappear when they invite you in? I'm not sure. I'd have to look at that. Might be new law. Who knows? But again, the idea is you're not allowed, or not allowed. The basis for your right to video law enforcement isn't that somebody put you out there to keep us safe from dirty law enforcement. And in fact, the dirty law enforcement are the ones that allow you to buy narcotics and allow the narcotics to get sold. Again, it's not all of you, but it's a good percentage of you. Although some of it's legal now and it's cannabis. Right. But still, are you in this right mind when you're smoking cannabis? Why don't you just use ashwagandha? I don't get it. You don't have to smoke it. It makes you feel better. Just try it. Stop smoking cannabis and use ashwagandha. A lot of people have already gotten on that bandwagon. They have gummies too. You just get a free gummy. Gummy. It doesn't make you high, but it'll make you feel better. Because sometimes that's what you're doing. You're getting high. You're medicating yourself because maybe some hormone is low or you have too much cortisol. Your endorphins are low, that kind of thing. So it actually makes it worse because then you get lazier. You have less endorphins. You smoke more pot. What do they call it now? Cannabis. It's sophisticated. You used to call it marijuana and pot. Now it's like cannabis, Avena sativa. Yeah, I'm hearing from doctors in the mind. What they just said is that they agree to medication with cannabis, but if the appropriate workup was engaged in, there will be a lot less people allowed to use cannabis. And again, there was a guy, and actually it was horrible. That's when I got real. I was in a physical therapy program in Naples. I believe I was being drugged. I believe that's what caused it. And I believe that's what generally causes it. But he told me he actually went out to, I don't know what, maybe Minnesota. Oh, it's Colorado, I think, one of the first states or something. He went out there on like a doctor's conference, and he actually went and tried to get a cannabis license. And so the doctor is like asking him questions, and he's like, "Nope, I ain't got no pains." Do you have like anxiety? No, I don't have any anxiety. I just want to smoke cannabis. I forget what other stuff he said. But the doctor eventually said, "Look, you got to tell me something's wrong with you. I can't give you this." So all you do is tell him something. You just go. But the doctors are saying, based upon not only the medical condition, the psychological condition of these people, they would not recommend cannabis use. They would recommend something else. And it's unfortunate because we do, and again, maybe this is something Kennedy can take care of, because it's so, and again, you got to be careful too, because you got to protect people, but because it's so tight, and I know you whole milk is your big one, but ashwagandha and things like that, doctors need to be able to talk to people about that. And they need to know about that. Right? I mean, give you a Valium instead of ashwagandha first is crazy. Right? unless you need it for something else, and I understand there's some use for it. So our holistic treatments, ashwagandha is a great one. Right. It's just something happened where, and they may have countered it. Again, spies are naturally evil people. Yeah, very few evil good left. There was a time when they were evil good. Now they're evil, corrupt, and evil, selfish. Right. But what they'll do is they'll figure out how to drug you to make the ashwagandha work against you. I swear to God, they've done shit like this before. I can't tell you whether that was it or right. That's what they do. Somehow make whatever you're taking at least a placebo where it doesn't work. They'll counter it. They're dirty as shit, man. It's interesting when Trump's in there because the deep state gets exposed. So they're not calling it the deep state, but it's still the same thing. They're altruistically protecting everyone. When the system doesn't protect people, we pick up anti-ICE. Right. So there's a certain level of fraud also. It's not the deep state now, it's anti-ICE. No, it's not political. Not at all. It's espionage. That's the problem of calling things. That's how they scam it. Or private investigation, and it's actually a spycraft assassination. And what do? They put Trump in situations and his people in situations where they would want to hire those people. So you have to understand, you should be very angry at them. Because Trump wouldn't have been. Trump's a lucky man. He wouldn't have been around Epstein if the spies didn't set him up. And now he pays them to protect. And then at a certain point, he started paying people to protect him. They set him up. Otherwise, he'd have been in church all day if that's what it required to not have the aggravation. He'd been Father Trump, the billionaire. No, keep them away from me. I don't need no more aggravation. Metaphysics is pretty big, but it also revolves around stuff like spycraft and metaphysics. Now that spycraft became bigger and psychological operation became bigger in the everyday life of people, and these people know what they're doing. Somewhere along the way, they were paid to do that stuff, right? And it could have just been even a hidden payment. And in some cases, where do they work? There. That's how they make their money. I wouldn't say paid agitators. They're a member of a criminal conspiracy. It's that simple. It's a criminal conspiracy. And it's espionage in nature. So there's a lot of laws that govern police departments. And those laws in the Floyd case said they were a little too harsh against the people. I still think it's the same thing, but now the victim is ICE. And I said, what I said about Chauvin, I said, he's guilty, shouldn't have done it that way, but I can't tell you what it is. I can't investigate it, so I can't tell you how far that goes. But what I did say is, Chauvin didn't come out of the academy or join the police department to have that happen. I agree with that part. But it appears that somebody in that police department allowed things to get a little crazy. And he became who he became. But like I said with Muhammad, it's the police department, it's the city that the issue is with, or the biggest issue. There was no reason to take Chauvin to all the different courts and all that. One court, basic sentence. Now, if you could have provided information, if you would have provided the case and found information that the city encouraged that behavior, he was wrong, but he would have got a lesser sentence, maybe like the other guys, right? Well, because the city has a requirement to train an officer and to keep an officer in line. If the city doesn't do that, then the responsibility generally comes off the officer. Well, because they're building a deep state is what they're doing, is what they were doing. Right. Now, I don't know if he engaged in any deep state assassination, which means he psychologically did things to people till they either killed themselves or acted out and they shot them. Again, you'll find that if you look at police chases, if there's an overabundance of officers, there's a possibility, not every time, but possibility that that's a victim of the police department, that everybody was being paid to do. Like if I went out there and I was fleeing in a loot, they'd shoot me. They wouldn't give me a second to breathe because they've already been told nobody would. I don't know about Pennsylvania, but I know before they were already told that nobody would be prosecuted. So some of that was a setup, a deep state setup. But again, it's the same people that are setting up ICE, right? And Border Patrol. In fact, I told Border Patrol years ago this was happening to them. And like when they started going to jail all the time and committing suicide, I said, deep state's got you. And we didn't call it deep state. I don't even know what I called it. Right. And I said, you got to be careful. You got to support one another. Don't let them split you apart. Don't attack one of your officers because that's the assassination. Well, because it'll get people you don't want it to get. Like you believe, oh, yeah, I want to get that son of a gun and they're going to pay me for it. I'll get my promotion. But then all of a sudden, they get somebody else that you work with, your partner. Right. Because somebody's paying. If a narco's not paying, they don't care. That's what happened to me. Somebody was paying to kill me. I've been paying all this time. And they go, well, why did they pay to kill you? See how the role reversal, they flip the script? Right. That's what they do to me. That's what they're doing to ICE. That's what they're doing to Border Patrol. It's actually unlawful to do that. That's past victim. Victim shaming is so you don't see the statute to charge them with. Right. So it's a psyop. The whole thing, is out of control, and you need more spy hunters, and you got to call it espionage and everything else. The court either comes along or they get impeached. I mean, you're not strong arming them into crime. Right? That's why they're getting you to do this bullshit. So they can taint your other missions. I know there was no way in the world that Trump was ever going to take military and go into Greenland, unless Greenland attacked us. Right. The only question I had as to whether, and again, probably they were, whether Tulsi was working something around to see what was going on in Greenland and see what their reactions were. Right. You've been had. We mapped everything. We have the organizational chart of corruption in Greenland and the foreign spies and all that. So there's more to it. I'm sure but it wasn't the time for it. We needed to get some other things done, just like we need to get our prayers done now. Well, I'll be back in a bit. Stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God.